and welcome back to the second part of my discussion of Still Me by Jojo Moyes. This is the third book in this series, which follows Louisa Clarke. The first two books in the series are Me Before You and After You. I made a book versus movie video about Me Before You, where I talk about the differences between the film and the book and what I thought of the film and the book. So I will link that up here so you can watch that as well. I asked on Twitter and Instagram whether you wanted me to make a separate video with a review of this book or join it on to my vlog of the signing event, which was my last upload, and all of you voted for me to do two short videos rather than one long video, given the fact that that vlog video was super long anyway. So it's probably quite a good thing that I did these as separate videos. So as I said, this is the third book in the Me Before You series. So if you haven't read Me Before You, I don't think you necessarily have to have read After You, but I am going to mention things in this video which would be spoilers for Me Before You. So if you haven't read Me Before You and want to, then don't watch anymore, because I will talk about things that happened in that book and you'll be spoiled. So you've been warned. Presumably, if you've made it to this point, you've read Me Before You and also possibly After You. But as I say, I'm not probably going to give any spoilers away for that one. So Me Before You is obviously a fairly sad story in a way. If you've read the book, you know why. And After You was kind of similarly tragic. There was some bad things that happened to poor Louisa Clarke in that book. At the event, I think if you watched my last video, you'll have seen that Jojo Moyes talked about the fact that she kind of tried to make good things happen for Louisa in After You, but actually she kind of just wouldn't let it happen. It was not until Still Me that things start to look up for Louisa. So it was amazing to be back in Louisa's world. It was fantastic to be back with this character that I have read about and loved and sort of rewatched in rewatching the film Me Before You. And it was just lovely to be back with her. She is just a wonderful character to spend time with, and she is a character I love to read about. Even when I was reading After You and she was, getting a bit of a battering, I still loved reading about Louisa Clarke. And so I love the fact that this book starts with her at immigration, being the Louisa Clarke that we know and love, that incredibly optimistic, bubbly, fun character. I don't know why my hair keeps getting caught on my glasses, very annoying, sorry. And it was just, it was great to be back in her world again. And every aspect of her character that we've grown to love in Me Before You and in After You is there still in Still Me. Obviously, all characters grow and change, so she's not going to be the exact same person that was, living with her parents, with her fancy shoes and her bumblebee tights that we saw at the beginning of Me Before You. She has grown and changed as a person because she's had some major things happen to her. However, she still has all those traits that we know and love, and so she was fantastic to read about in this book. The other thing that I really loved straight away about this book is the fact that it's set in New York. As I say, the book begins with Louisa at immigration in JFK, which is always an experience. If you've been a Brit entering the United States, you know what an experience that is. And Louisa is trying to be bubbly and lovely and try and text her mum back on the phone, and you know that none of those things go down well at the immigration desk when you've got that big snaky queue behind you and you've just come off like an 8 or 10 hour flight and all you really want to do is brush your teeth and have a shower. And then obviously she gets to New York and it's just fabulous reading about the city through her eyes. And this book is set on the Upper East Side, And so we have all the stuff that goes with that. You know what the connotations are of the Upper East Side of New York, and so the characters and the events that happen in this book all kind of spring off of that sort of stereotypical Upper East Side New York style and kind of way of life. Yeah, as I say, setting of this book, fantastic. Then we have the fact that Louisa has got a job caring for, being a companion to this new person, and we have this new person to meet. She is a character in herself, and I really enjoyed getting to know her as a character. And then we have Nathan back. We love Nathan. And it was lovely sort of seeing Louisa sort of still having that friendship with Nathan and the things that they kind of bring to each other. Added to that is the fact that Louisa is in a long distance relationship. Again, something that I could relate to, and I'm sure many of you could relate to. And that brings with it, obviously, its own storyline, its own problems, its own issues. And you kind of, when you're in this long distance relationship, I've been in a transatlantic long distance relationship, I know what it's like. The time difference is an issue. The fact that when you meet up with each other, one of you is always jet lagged and has just come off a plane and just wants to brush their teeth and have a shower. The kind of, reunion at that barrier at the airport is not always what you think it's going to be. I learned not to make too big a deal of that thing. We get there and it's just like, yeah, high five. That's as far as we're going. That's all the expectation is. But obviously, Louisa being Louisa builds this up and has this amazing picture in her head. Then obviously we've got this kind of deeper storylines of Louisa being in this brand new city, in this brand new country to her, and kind of the exploration of herself that she has to do because she's been put in that situation, as well as the exploration of the city that she has to do, and the fact that she finds that yes, she is actually a strong person for doing that, and the self-discovery that she has at that point. And as I said at the beginning, she's growing and changing. She's been through some major life events. We're seeing her further on into her life, and so that side of the book was really interesting as well. As I said at the beginning, this book is in no way as kind of tragic and weepy as the previous two novels. It did make me cry in parts. It did make me laugh a lot. There are some really funny moments in this book. But on the whole, I just really enjoyed being in New York with Louisa and discovering a new job with Louisa, and just kind of being there with her and enjoying spending time with that character and just seeing where it went. I know I've seen a few reviews that say that because they were expecting something along the lines of Me Before You, or even the kind of events that happened in After You, that they thought that this book was a bit kind of slower paced, or they didn't see as much happening. But I think that this is Louisa's time for her own self-discovery. This is her story. This isn't about somebody else. And so I think that I loved the fact that it, wasn't as tragic, and that it was a bit slower paced, because I had time to kind of take everything in at the same time as Louisa was taking everything in, taking this new city, taking this new surroundings, and this new sense of kind of personal achievement as well. All the things that you have to do when you've not lived in a big city, let alone a big city in a different country. Each one of those things, when you do them, is a different achievement. And so that, for me, was a real, side of the book. And obviously, I hugely related to the fact that it was following a Brit living in the United States for the first time, for obvious reasons. Yeah, I loved that side of it, and obviously I think I can come to this novel from that side, whereas a lot of other people will not be coming from the same direction as I am. But I think that's, the biggest thing that I really enjoyed straight away. As I say, did have a little cry in a couple of parts, but there was lots of laughs in this one, and it is definitely more optimistic and uplifting. if you're not looking for a book that is going to make you cry. But yeah, I mean, I found Me Before You and After You optimistic and uplifting as well, but they did make you cry a lot. So yeah, a less of a weepy novel from Jojo Moyes. But yeah, I really enjoyed this book. I really, really rated it. I left a review on my blog. I'll link that in the blog post below, in the description box below. If I didn't seem as coherent in this video as maybe I did in my blog post, but it's quite a gushy one, have to warn you. And as always, I will leave a link to the book below should you wish to order your copy. It is out in both the UK and the US right now. This is the US cover with the skyscraper on it. It's quite lovely. And then the UK cover is just a white cover with a bumblebee. I think I definitely prefer the US cover in this instance. Interesting seeing Jojo Moyes US versus UK covers. They look like completely different books, I think. Maybe it's time for a UK versus US cover Jojo Moyes special. Let me know in the comments if you'd like to see that video. I will have some more videos coming up for you very soon. I've got some exciting things planned, so make sure you are subscribed so that those hit your subscription box and you don't have to go searching for them. If you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up, and yeah, I'd love to know if you've read this, what you thought of it in comments below, and yeah, I will be back with another video soon, so I will see you then. Bye.